Good evening, everyone. It is 6 o'clock, and I would like to call the school board meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Any adjustments in the agenda, Mrs. Bowles?
There are not.
Item D, approval of the minutes.
I move to approve the minutes of the November 28th, 2023 special board meeting as presented.
Second. Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor? Thank you. Item E, communications and correspondence.
I have two resignations to pass out to you from Crystal Dow and Elizabeth Coombs.
Thank you. Read it after. That brings us to item F, administrative reports.
So just a couple of things for the audience and for the public. One of the things that we've been talking a lot about at the board level is our meetings. And one of the greatest gifts we could give people right now is the gift of time. And administrators right now are working to the bone like everyone else. And so one of the things we talked about was, is it a good use of everyone's time to have administrators spend time writing reports in details, putting pictures and doing all those things, and then standing up to the microphone and reading them? When maybe instead what we could do is, starting in January, write them a little bit differently so that the audience is more the public and post them for all to see, and not have every single administrator present. That takes almost over an hour of our meeting when we've watched it. And so the thought was, certainly give the board the opportunity to ask them any questions if they saw something in the report they needed clarified, and instead focusing more on the special presentation item of the agenda, and when there are great things or things that are a problem that we think people should hear and talk about, we would do it during that section of the agenda item. So we're going to pilot that this month, where not every administrator presents, and instead give you the opportunity to ask any of them questions. And then starting in January, the audience would be different. The board would get the packet, but the packet would also be posted for the public so that they could see all of the great things that are happening in the schools. We're going to start probably getting pretty hefty on our agendas starting in January because we have a lot of work ahead. So trying to keep meetings efficient for board members and for administrators. Also this evening, Nikki Chan has taken a well-deserved vacation day today, and I did not require her to come back in for the meeting. So really for tonight, you have me doing my report. So just to go over a few things. First, I want to start by saying I had the privilege of watching the show at Ellsworth High School, Alice by Heart. Phenomenal. I'm always amazed at the talent that we have right here in our local schools. And from littles all the way up to those who participated on stage, behind the scenes, and helped in all aspects of the play. It was phenomenal. It was probably one of my favorites I've seen, so congratulations to them. It was amazing. I do want to start tonight and say, as many of you know, Sumner Memorial High School and Hancock County Technical Center lost a student Sunday in a tragic accident. I want to take a moment to offer the school department's condolences to RSU 24, the family of the student, and the friends. Our hearts go out to the RSU 24 community who have had to grapple with enormous loss over the last year. At Hancock County Technical Center, this loss was profound for staff and students. I want to take a moment and thank Bill Tracy for his leadership during this week, as well as OPI. I also feel it's important to really take a moment and thank our support staff who went above and beyond these last 2 days to support one another, our community, the RSU 24 community, our staff, and our students. I want to take a moment and thank Betsy Higgins, Brent and Brenda Frost, who both work at EEMS and gave up their time and energy and emotions to go to RSU 24, along with Amy Van Dorn, and then Jen Smith, Sarah White, Michelle Osborne, who all have stepped up. I also want to thank our 2 MDI counselors who came today to support us as well. So if we could take a moment of silence to honor the student we lost. Thank you. Next, to focus ourselves on some of the work we have ahead, I want to update the community and the board on our Early Childhood Learning Collaborative that continues to meet and discuss how our community can work towards more comprehensive preschool opportunities for family of the Ellsworth community. Our last meeting was held via Zoom, and we were fortunate to have Department of Head representatives from the Early Learning Department join us and really talk to us about how there is a wide variety of approaches to offering preschool for 4-year-olds in communities, and started really talking to us about what that might look like for the community of Ellsworth. We have another meeting coming up on Monday, December 18th, and again, would like to encourage our early learning collaboratives from across the city that if they'd like to participate, they're more than welcome to join us at any time. On January 4th, I'm excited to report that Police Chief and City Manager Glenn Mosier and I have worked together to find a date where we can bring law enforcement officials and administrators together to really review and go over our emergency management plan. In light of different tragedies we have had across the state, really, we have an opportunity to really go through it and probably make some pretty significant changes to that. All of the sample lockdowns and practice ones that we have done this fall have also shown we have some areas that we'd like to change. And then what we'd like to do is take a little bit of a break, and then we're going to bring our mental health professionals in to talk about some of the parts of the plan that aren't so law enforcement heavy, like the tragedy on Sunday. We kind of, in our debriefing, have found there's a lot of things that we need to change that would hopefully make things more step-by-step and concrete for people. When you're dealing with loss like we were this weekend, step-by-step is important because sometimes everyone's trying to do their best, but it would be important to kind of make some changes based on best practice. So January 4th, we are going to do that work, and then we will bring the proposed changes to the board for your approval after that. Also, to update the community on the strategic planning work that we are doing, we have met again and looked at some district data. That was pretty comprehensive and was a really good activity. We have another batch of data that we're going to look at, and then we're going to really dive into looking at the planning of our district review of the mission and vision of our district. So I'm excited for that coming in the new year. Budget discussions are underway for FY25, if you can believe it. Our business office worked hard to develop a budget development standard operating procedure, or SOP, that was disseminated and passed out at the leadership level and to our administrative assistants that are responsible for budget entry. I also put in your packet the budget development schedule that was passed out to leadership team so that you could get an idea. You will see that our timeline is pretty accelerated at the request of the city in comparison to where we've been before. We are really going to have to focus in the month of February, which of course is our shortest month, to get budgets approved. And then we would be looking for the school board's formal validation of our budget on March 12th, with the hope that then the city council would approve it in April. May would be communication, and then the vote would be in June. So that gets us back on the timeline prior to last year that they would like us to be on. So we are, awaiting our 279 But in the meantime, discussions have begun to happen at the leadership level to discuss priorities and changes that we'd like to make in the upcoming fiscal year. Finally, a reminder that Friday, December 22nd is a half-day for students. Dismissal for students is at 11:30 and for staff at noon. Schools will reopen Tuesday, January 2nd, and if you can believe it, we are already almost finalized a draft of the 2024-2025 school calendar. That will go before discussion at the Hancock County Superintendent's meeting on Friday, and then we'll start pushing out drafts to unions and staff to get feedback and then bring it to you for approval. That is it for now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. That brings us to item G, committee reports. Since last month was an election month, we have reorganized our committees. And our standing board committees for this upcoming year will be for curriculum, Beth and Abby. Facilities will be Bev and Paul. Finance will be Paul and Bev. Personnel is myself and Abby. And policy will be myself and Beth. There are other committees throughout the district, of which there is a board representative. We have dropout prevention, and Bev will sit on that. HCTC, Paul will sit on that. Wellness will be Beth. The Health Center will be Abby. And then we have some special committees which are short-term for a specific task. We have Strategic Planning, which is Beth and myself. HCTC Building Committee, which is myself and Paul. And Early Childhood, which is myself and Abby. So that is it. That brings us to public participation. Is there anyone in the public who would like to speak? Okay. Seeing none, that brings us to item I, new business. Special presentation.
So tonight, we are going to honor several people, which I'm really excited about. First, I'd like to call up Mr. Dan Clifford for his student presentation.
Good evening. In my board report a couple months ago, actually, I had Emily Hagerman, and I'd ask Emily to come on up. So as you remember, Emily was named the first tenor saxophone in the state of Maine, which means she's the best of the best at #1 in Maine. And on January 11th through the 13th, she'll compete or participate in a jazz festival at Camden Regional High School. So, and this is Emily. So one thing I learned about her on Friday, which I didn't know at our assembly, is that she played the clarinet her freshman year and then changed to the saxophone her sophomore year and just started playing that, which is incredible to do that in 3 years and be considered the best in the state of Maine. And you can ask her any questions if you want, if you have any.
Emily, how does it feel to be the best of the best?
It's great. I try to stay humble as best as I can, and I really do, but it feels great. I love it, and oh my God, freshman year me would be ecstatic. Oh my God.
Why did you switch from clarinet to saxophone?
So in 8th grade, Mrs. Brown was the music teacher, and that was, I think, her second or first year teaching. And I was playing clarinet, and I was doing fine. And for some reason, we just had September on our music sheet, and she needed a tenor sax. And she looked at 2 people that played clarinet, me and Natalie Dorr, who used to go to Ellsworth. And so we both learned tenor, but COVID hit, and so I only had like 2 months of experience. Mm-hmm. And that ran into my freshman year. And I really only started picking up until the end of my freshman year, but then summer hit, so I had to drop it. And it wasn't until beginning to mid-sophomore year was when I actually completely did my transition from clarinet to tenor. And it's only been like 3 years since I've actually learned how to play it. And
was part of it that Mr. Calandro was short on tenor sax players, and so he asked you to...
He got the ball rolling. Look, a little bit. I stopped and I lost a lot of hope because tenor's hard. Switching from clarinet to tenor is a very difficult transition. And I thought I wasn't going to be able to do it. And Calandro built like a lot of confidence in me, and I really do thank him a lot. He did so much for me. He's amazing. He's like one of my biggest role models in the world.
I know someone else who feels the same way. Oh, that's great. Yeah. So you basically you did it partly to step up and
Yeah.
help out your music department.
Yeah, I've always tried to step up the most I can, but with a tiny little clarinet, you can't do much. And it was a big job and it was a big risk. And I thought I was going to drop music as a whole because I just thought I couldn't do it. But he helped a lot. He kept me up, and also a lot of people like Kyla, I've been friends with since freshman year. She's helped me too. Paige Johnson, a bunch of other people have helped me, and it's been great. I love it.
That's great.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
And for you, congratulations.
Thank you.
So next, because we have a couple special, tonight we want to honor our 23-24 Maine Principals Association Assistant Principal of the Year. Just want to, in case people missed it on the news, Mrs. Wright went through, after being nominated, there's an application process, and we were thrilled to learn that she had been selected for this year. It's like I said at the assembly when she was awarded it, I don't think a lot of people truly understand the assistant principal role and what a grind it is. Having done it myself, it is really hard because you constantly feel like you're the bad guy in the room. And I think one of the things that people don't know is how behind the scenes she is always tirelessly advocating for students that are our most vulnerable, worrying about those that are homeless, worrying about kids that may be dropping out, trying to find alternative solutions for kids who may not have what other students have. So we were thrilled to learn that she was honored. She will be formally bestowed in May. So tonight, I don't know if you want to say anything, Rebecca, but we're very
Yeah.
proud
Speech.
of our assistant principal of the year. So wanted to make sure that she was recognized at the school board level as well, if any of you want to say anything.
Congratulations. Well deserved for sure.
So next, Rebecca's award was top secret, but this was like the CIA or the president was coming to town for this Milliken Educator Award. Bill and I really have never experienced anything like that. It was literally like a covert phone call. Amy, you cannot tell anyone, your husband, the board, no one can know. They were extremely secretive about this award. We are absolutely thrilled that the Milliken Foundation found Ellsworth, Maine, and selected who they did. One of the things that I don't think was as explained that I will try to do is that, she was selected not just because of her excellence in the classroom, but they really look for educators who spread education beyond the classroom. And what she has done in building the middle school Skills USA opportunity for students in Hancock County in grades 6, 7, and 8 is a model for other schools to replicate, and is something that people really recognize her for and her leadership in that area. And, growing future educators in our community, and that's one of the biggest labor shortages right now. And so we were thrilled to learn that Megan was selected for this award. So the board and I wanted to take a moment at this level to congratulate our Milliken Educator Award, Megan Stubbs. So she gets to go now represent the state of Maine at national conferences and in California, and she's now part of an alumni many of you saw, the alumni that were present to award her with that. And the videos are pretty cool. They have been going all over the country the last couple weeks awarding this year's winners. And it has been pretty cool on Facebook to go back and watch that, and to know that it happened here. I think the other thing that is really important for the public to know, and Holly Blair and I talked about this quite a bit at Rebecca's award winning, she said, Amy, you're still new, but she said for your school department to get these 2 awards in the same year, she goes, I don't know that it's ever happened. And she said, they don't talk to each other. Like, we had no idea you were getting this, and they had no idea you were getting that. So for 2 really big educational institutions to recognize your people is quite a big deal for the Ellsworth School Department, and you should be very proud. So I wanted to make sure that everybody knew that it's pretty awesome. And what I love about both of them is they both said, we've gotten this award, but we stand with all of our educators and colleagues, and this is about our team and everybody that we work with. So I was really proud of that also. So thank you both. Yay. So that for special presentation.
Okay.
Good stuff.
All right, so we have more good stuff coming up.
Yes.
We have the High Five Awards. So we started this last month, and I had the privilege of presenting these awards, and it was a highlight of my school committee career, but I think we should all take a turn.
Spread the wealth.
Yes. So would you like to have the honor?
You get to go stand and have your picture taken, Mr. Markosian.
Where do I stand?
Right up
Right
front.
down here.
All right, I'll go stand over here.
And you'll smile for the camera.
Yeah.
So we have 3 winners this month, and again, I want to remind the public that this is an award that people are nominated for, and they are nominated and could be working in any part of our school department. They could be teacher, they could be custodian, food service, administrator, school, I mean, it could be anybody, a coach. And all of our educators work tirelessly every day for students, but these are for people who go above and beyond, and people want them to be recognized. So once again, we had a lot of nominees, but this month we have 3 award winners. So I will read a short, I'm not reading the whole thing, but I'm going to read a short part of their nomination, and then if you could come up and have your picture taken, which I know Leanna Connors is super excited about. So our first award winner is Leanna Connors, a teacher at Ellsworth Elementary Middle School. Leanna received several nominations from students and colleagues. She was nominated for advancing students to higher levels of achievement and meeting the goals and mission of the district in her work on a day-to-day basis. She has demonstrated creativity and imagination in her professional practices that has inspired students and colleagues alike. She makes projects fun that help us learn in a creative and fun way. She has helped and expanded many people's minds in their educational practices. And I would say, based on her presentation last month, that is part of it for sure. So congratulations, Leanna Connors. Next, I would like to honor Richard Jameson, Hancock County Technical Center automotive teacher, who was nominated by a parent who feels that Mr. Jameson takes his students and not only advances their knowledge, but their confidence. This particular parent's son has been taught by Mr. Jameson to accept failures and how to turn them into successes. He keeps a clear and open line of communication, not just with students, but with parents, to optimize all of his students' successes. He has worked to build not just automotive skills in his students, but academic skills while maintaining real relationships with his students. Congratulations, Rich. That TV really is an occupational hazard.
It is.
And Chris Duffy is our next award winner, also nominated by a parent and students. Chris's dedication to the district, running the performing arts at EHS, and the students of our school is immeasurable. Both last year and this year, he has worked with students to teach skills in lighting, sound, and other technical aspects of theater and music that have increased their skills, confidence, and abilities. He brings together the staff and the students involved in events and productions to encourage them to go above what they expected to be able to do. He has created a sense of belonging and professionalism in the technical theater kids that has been incredible to see. He has put so much thought, energy, and pride into his job, both the technical aspects, but also with staff and students. Congratulations, Chris. All right, that's everyone. So congratulations to the three of you.
Isn't it the best?
And now everyone
you.
vacates.
Yeah.
Cameron, you don't want to stay, bud? Okay. You're very welcome. Hi. Bye, Liam.
Bye, Liam.
I know.
Oh.
Bye, sweetie.
No. Oh, that was great.
All right.
All right, all the happy stuff
I
is,
told you
oh, that was great.
we needed it.
All right, item 3, second read of policy.
So last month, we talked about changes that were made to policy BDE, and then the administrative procedures as well. Nobody gave any comments back. So again, the big changes were just that we would announce publicly who's on what committee, so the public would know. And we talked about making sure that each committee had a charge and met with purpose. So, yeah. So looking for second read.
Sounds good. All right, do we have a motion?
I move to accept the second read and adopt BDE, Board Standing Committees, and BDE-RF, Standing Committee Operating Procedures, as amended and recommended by the Policy Committee.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor? Thank you. And item 4, appointment of an administrator.
So I'm thrilled tonight to bring forward Katie Hollenbach for the position of IT Director for the remainder of the school year. She'd be given a 2-year contract, so she'd have the remainder of this year and next year as our new IT Director. She has worked tirelessly, that word's trumped me twice tonight, in our IT department as our tech integrator. And while that will leave a hole in that department that we will look to fill, she will bring that expertise to the position that we think is invaluable. She has the right personality. She's a worker, and she leads by example. So I'm thrilled to make that nomination this evening.
Wonderful.
Do you want to do this one?
Sure. I'd like to make a motion to confirm the superintendent's nomination of Catherine Hollenbach as IT Director under the terms of administrative contract commencing December 13th, 2023.
I'll second that. Any discussion? All those, oh, go right ahead.
Do you have discussion?
Oh, I thought you had discussion.
No, I was about to raise my hand. but-
Okay, all those in favor?
Overzealous.
Congratulations,
Yes,
Katie.
congratulations.
Yes, we're thrilled.
Okay, that brings us to calendar and announcements. We have the Personnel Committee meeting on Monday, the 18th at 10 o'clock. Finance Committee will be meeting on Monday, January 8th. Our next school board meeting is Tuesday, January 9th, and our next board workshop is January 23rd here in council chambers. And that brings us to you, Paul.
Oh. Having no further business, I move that we adjourn this meeting.
Okay, second. Okay, great. Any discussion? All those in favor? All right, wow.